I wanted to talk today about how sitting can be one of the worst things you can be doing for your back and your spine. When you're sitting, we're sitting in one position, usually for long periods, especially if it's at work, and that really starts to take a toll on our body. Not only can it cause pain initially, but it can also cause problems long term. And there's a couple of reasons why that is. The first is going to be disc pressure. When you're sitting in one position for long periods of time, the pressure from everything above where that disc is, whether it be your head, your mid-back, your lower back, all of the weight of your body is then put on that disc. Now, when you're not moving, that pressure over time can start to cause some issues. And if it's long enough, it can even cause some things with arthritis and degeneration. Movement is how it gets all of its nutrition and its fluid. When you don't move a disc, that's when it slowly starts to die off. But when we're doing this for long periods of time, over weeks, months, years potentially, that's when we start to get in some issues. We need to be moving for our disc to be healthy. And when we don't move for long periods of time, that's where we start putting ourselves in a very bad situation. Next is forward head posture. This one is one of the worst. If you're working on a computer or if you're on a handheld device like a phone or a tablet, your head starts to go forward, if not down. That's one of the worst things you can do because you are changing where your center of gravity is. As you start moving forward, your center of gravity moves forward with your head. So to prevent you from falling forward, now your low back has to arch more backwards. You have changed completely your biomechanics and your movement patterns, and you're changing muscle memory of your body. You're changing the way that you move because of bad posture for long periods. It starts to straighten out the spine of your neck. Instead of having a backwards curve, it starts going straight. We used to call it military neck, now we call it text neck. But it also has an effect on your lower back and your hips because if your head is going forward, your back has to go back to keep your center of gravity. Now we start overstressing muscles, tendons, and ligaments. We start to get muscle spasms, we get adhesions in the muscles, and we start to get issues. Sitting for long periods of time can cause forward head posture, and forward head posture can have detrimental effects for you and your spine and your long-term health. Next is the muscles themselves. A lot of times when we are sitting for long periods, especially if we're at a desk or a table, we don't have the proper ergonomics. So when you're sitting and you don't have your monitor where the center of it is even with your nose, where you don't have your chair to where your legs are in 90-degree angles, feet on the floor, where you don't have your keyboard to where your arms are in 90-degree angles, and your head is firmly back and not going forward, when we don't have all of that set up right, the muscles start to contract. They start to spasm. They're overworked. We start breaking down muscle is replaced with scar tissue because you use those muscles improperly. Scar tissue is not as strong or flexible as normal tissue, which means now we're more likely to have accident, injuries, or traumas in the future. And it starts to feed into your body slowly breaking down. So sitting for long periods not only starts to affect our posture, but if we don't have proper ergonomics when we're doing it, it just speeds that along. So it's so important to make sure we have the setup right when we're sitting because sitting can really be detrimental. Now, with all of that being said, what's the best way to do this? What's the solution? Is it standing? And the answer is no. Standing is not necessarily that much better than sitting. The problem is when we're doing either for long periods of time. So what we want to do if we're sitting, make sure we're doing it right. Make sure that we don't have that forward head posture. Make sure that we have the proper ergonomics. Make sure that we're not sitting for long periods, we're taking breaks. I recommend people get up for at least 2 to 5 minutes every 45 minutes to an hour just to move around, stretch, take a couple deep breaths. That's going to help reset your normal biomechanics, your muscle memory, and your posture. This will help prevent long-term issues. The problem is when you're just working on something for hours on end. Or if you're on your phone or your tablet and you're constantly looking down, it doesn't take that long at all. So you always want to make sure you're taking breaks, getting up and moving around so these things don't cause long-term issues.